Hi everyone, it's Dr. Elaine Buchanan. Welcome to our second week of Theological Interpretations of Scripture. So every week you can expect to see a video announcement of some sort, maybe a written announcement every now and then. Just talking a little bit about the previous week and also what we can expect in the coming week. This particular week, though, is going to take a little bit longer because I want to explain some things that will hopefully be helpful to you in regards to both our weekly papers and our discussion boards. So there's a lot that needs to be addressed. So if you have pen and paper, if you want to write some things down on your computer, whatever it is that you decide to do, everything that I'm going to tell you is hopefully going to be very helpful to you in the weeks to come. So I want to talk about the weekly papers first. And one of the best things that you can do in regards to the weekly papers is to imagine yourself walking alongside someone who comes from that particular tradition. So the first week, Protestant tradition. This week, it's the Roman Catholic tradition. So for this week, just imagine yourself walking alongside someone who is Roman Catholic and who works with biblical interpretation, works with theological interpretation of some sort. Okay. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to just pretend in your mind, imagine that you're walking alongside this person and this person is telling you about the key influencers and how the Wesleyan quadrilateral influences them and how Scripture influences their ecclesiology and these different questions that we have. Just imagine yourself listening to them as they share their perspective on how they go about reading, understanding, and interpreting Scripture. Okay. If you do this, it will be really helpful to you because our papers, weeks 1 through 7, are about them. They're about other people and the traditions that they are coming from and their perspective and what they bring to the table when they are reading, understanding, and interpreting Scripture. So because of that, we're really not using first and second person pronouns really at all in weeks 1 through 7, because we are focused on whoever this representative is, whoever this group of people is. We're trying to understand them. We're not trying to understand ourselves just yet. Okay, so with that in mind, that's the best way I can think of to go about thinking about how to approach these papers. Go with a mindset that you're curious about learning how these other people, how they interpret and how they understand Scripture. Okay, even if you come from that particular tradition, imagine yourself standing alongside someone else who comes from that tradition. Okay, that will be very, very, very helpful to you. Also, there's lots and lots of academic interaction that is needed at this level. So there should be about 13 or 14 footnotes per paper. All 8 questions do need to be answered. So I suggest writing about a paragraph per answer, and that will be very, very helpful to you. So let me also say this. So at the graduate level, we're doing a whole lot more thinking and processing and trying to understand other people, concepts, ideologies, all those different types of things. So because of that, it takes a little bit more time. We can't just think of something to write and write it last minute and expect for it to be really good. We really need to spend time imagining walking alongside somebody else. That would be very, very helpful. All right, back to what I was saying. So all 8 questions need to be answered. Also remember that it's really important at this level to summarize and footnote and interact. Quotations should be limited to about 15%, which is about 3 lines per full written page. Also stay within the word count. There's 750 to 1,000 words. So stay within that limit. It's very important to do that. And then also, if you need to utilize and to better understand SBL style, there is a folder on our course page that says Student Resources. Click on that. click on the SBL folder, and then there are like 3 or 4 files that will show up for you, and all of those will be really, really helpful for SBL style. Okay, I also want to talk a little bit about the late policy for our class. In regards to the papers, this is not going to be the case for discussion boards. It is only for the weekly papers. Okay, so I understand that sometimes things come up and we're just not able to get things done on time. I get that. I understand that. So here's what I'm going to do from here and all the way through the rest of our class. And I did this for this first week as well. So North Central's policy is very strict. So late papers should not be accepted at all. However, for our class, what I would like to do for you is give you a 24-hour period of grace. And what I mean by that is this. Papers should 100% be turned in on time, so on Sundays. If for some reason they are not turned in by 11:55 p.m. Central Time, you can turn it in after that up until Monday at 11:55 p.m. Central Time, with the understanding that 20% will be taken off the final score. Now, that may not seem like a whole lot, but it does add up. So really the smartest, best thing to do is to start working on your papers early, so that way you can make sure that they are turned in on time. Okay, but again, for our weekly papers, not the final paper, for our weekly papers, I will keep the assignment open until Monday at 11:55 p.m. And again, it's due on Sunday at 11:55 p.m. If it's turned in after that, but before 11:55 p.m. on Mondays, 20% will be taken off the final score. And if it is not turned in by Monday night, then the final score for that assignment will be 0. So also with that in mind, each of our weekly papers contributes to our final paper. So it is much wiser to turn something in than nothing at all, okay? Because everything that we're doing contributes to that final paper. I'm also going to attach a document to this video, and what it is it is a Protestant interpretation paper from a different class that I taught at a different school. What I'm going to do for that particular document is I'm going to tell you the questions that were asked of her in her class, not the questions that are being asked in our class, because they're similar, but they're still a little bit different. And what I want to do is I want to actually show you this document so you can see how to do these theological approaches papers well, and also be able to fit them within the acceptable word count. Okay, so I'm going to attach that to this, and I did ask her permission for it, so it's all good. All right, now let's talk a little bit about the discussion boards. So most of you did really, really, really well with your discussion boards for this week. And there are just a few things that I wanted to mention to you, just so that way we are all on the same page. So for discussion boards, there is no possible way to get into every little detail that there is about certain things, okay? What you do need to do is to answer the questions that are being asked of you, answer them directly, answer them as thoroughly as you can, and fit them for your initial post between 200 and 350 words. Okay. Both resources, so that would be Stone and Duke, and then also Billings. Stone and Duke, that's one book, and then Billings, the other book. Both of those need to be footnoted. Follow SBL style. Both of those need to be footnoted in the initial post. Okay. Because everything that we're writing needs to be supported by academic resources. Okay. Also, in regards to the responses, there is an actual word limit for that. So 150 to 250 words for responses. Both responses need to be in response to the initial post of 2 other students, okay? So there need to be 2 other students that you need to respond to their initial post, okay? This isn't a response to a response on somebody else's post. This isn't a response to a response on your own post. There need to be 2 different responses to the initial posts of 2 other students. So 1 apiece for the initial posts of 2 other students. Of course, you can interact on your own discussion board, on your own thread. Of course, you can interact throughout somebody else's discussion board. It's just really important to keep in mind that you respond to 2 initial posts. And then also, please make sure that you are following SBL style. Okay, so with all of that being said, the reason this particular video is so long is because I believe in you. And I really, really want for you to succeed in this class. I want for you to shine. I want for you to excel. All of those different things. So please do take the feedback that I'm providing to you in mind. Keep that in mind for future discussion boards and papers. And also for your discussion boards, I will provide personalized feedback to you for the first 3 weeks. All you need to do is go to your initial post, and you will see a private reply from me to your initial post, and that is my feedback to you. Also, you've gotten feedback on your weekly papers, and you've also you should have also received a graded copy of your weekly paper, and there are a couple that I'm still working on grading, but my hope is to get them to you before I go to sleep tonight. And now I'm going to stop rambling, but it is really, really good to be with you. I believe in you. I'm praying for you, and I'm really, really grateful that you're in this class, and our future videos will hopefully be much shorter. Have a great day and a great week.